Hi everyone, welcome to our video session. As usually, I'm so excited to see you. Today we're talking about another Edu tool, which is a really interactive one. And I can't wait to invite Sumedha Sodhi for our session. But first things first, let's start as usually with a bit of introduction. So that's how we can know from which part of the world you are tuning from and what is your teaching role exactly. Um, well, we are so ready to share with the Parley. And I would love to know, have you ever tried Parley in your classroom? If so, just share in the comments area. I can see that, oh, this is a random from Albania. And keep sharing for which part of the world you're tuning from, what is your teaching role, as I mentioned before. And let me show you briefly the Parley main page, which is parlayidea.com. I just going to share with my screen right now. So you can follow this website, and I think it's going to be much easier for you to see how it works. You may ask any questions our great speaker today. The future of class discussions. I used to use Mentimeter. If you're familiar with this tool, please do share in the commentary again. But I'm looking at Parley, and I'm thinking that, wow, this is such amazing tool that I would love to use with my students. So it's there is a free version, but our speaker is going to share exactly how many round tables we can create with our students. So you can see that this is for teachers and for students to enter the code. You may start logging in or signing in, and that's how it's going to be much more interactive this way. So at this happy note, I'm going to invite our amazing guest speaker. Excited to know more about Parley.
Thank you so much. I will introduce myself with my presentation. Just let me know if you can see my screen. Is my presentation visible?
Yeah, it works.
Okay, so good evening, everyone. Good morning, good evening from any part of the world, from wherever you are joining. I'm joining from India, and my name is Sumedha Sodhi. And for introduction, I would like to just tell you that I am edutech passionate educator from India, and these are some of the education certification, the digital certification I have achieved for myself to make learning fun for my students and engaging for my students. And Parlay is one such tool which I have incorporated in my teaching learning experience to make classroom discussions really engaging and fun for the new generation. And today I'm going to share my learning experience with all the educators over here. Hope you will like it. So first of all, before moving on to Parlay, I would like to discuss that why discussions are important in the classroom. So first thing is that if we want to increase the learning outcome, if we want to increase the achievements of our students, we have to introduce discussion in our teaching learning process. If we want to instill the 21st century skills in our students like critical thinking, collaboration, digital citizenship, communication, we have to introduce students to some kind of discussion platform. And since during the COVID 19 period, it was very difficult for the educators to do discussions online and to make remote learning as effective as it was there in the face to face classroom. And that is how I discovered this amazing tool, that is Parlay Ideas, to engage my students, to encourage them to lead the thoughtful discussions and lead to open-minded digital citizenship skills, where we can discuss about social awareness, empathy, interpersonal relationship skills. We can discuss about social emotional learning, their achievements, and many things more. And finally, leading to the student driven discussions instead of teacher led discussions. So Parley gives a platform which is very amazing for the blended approach, for the hybrid learning, because this platform supports blended learning approaches that makes class discussions meaningful, measurable, and inclusive. It has a very good well built in library of lessons and the discussions and roundtables which are developed by educators around the world in the beautiful facility which is known as the Parley Universe. There is a library of the roundtables which have been developed by experts and educators around the world, and you are going to find it under this tab, Parley Universe. You can just note it down somewhere. The other features it provides is that you can organize two type of discussion with your students. Number one, you can engage them in online roundtable discussions, which will be the written discussions that you can do. But if you think that I don't want a written discussion for my students and we orally want to discuss the ideas and we want to do some critical thinking discussions, then we also have another facility which is called live roundtable discussions, which are in class verbal discussions which can be taken place in the synchronous learning atmosphere. And online roundtable discussions can be done both synchronous and as well as the asynchronous atmosphere. So how you can make remote learning fun with Parley? Here is a infographics telling about that. You can choose a ready-made discussion prompt, as I told you, from the Parley Universe, or you can make your own discussion platform from scratch. You can select a roundtable discussion from the Parley Universe and you can customize it by choosing the editing option and save the changes and choose the settings in the toolbar. Like you can change the assessment criteria, you can change the peer feedback questions, you can invite students to participate in peer review. And once your all customization is done, your editing is done, you can simply invite your students to participate in the discussion by a very easy mode. Either you can share the link of the discussion or you can share the class code and invite your students through the code. You can integrate the Parley discussion into different LMS systems like the Google Classroom or Microsoft Teams. You can watch the discussion, how it is moving on in the classroom, whether the child is participating in the discussion or not. You can highlight the model submission of students, join the conversation yourself, assess the participation of the students, and reflect on the summary data which is inbuilt. So Parley Universe is a collection of different roundtable discussions developed by educators and experts, and they are grouped into different collections. So you have topics on future, you have topics on history, you have topics on geography, you have topics on skills, you have topics on journalism, media. There are different themes under which you can search your topic for. This is the summary that you are going to get out of your discussions. You can see what is the average comment length of the remarks and the discussions which the child has made. Each child, how many times that child has generated a new idea, how many times that child has challenged someone's idea, they have built upon someone's idea, or how many times they have asked the question, how many nudges were added by the teacher. So everything is beautifully given in the summary through the color code. And then you also have a word cloud as a summary of all the answers which have been mentioned in the discussion forum by the students. So the key words are being taken up and this summary is being generated. So that is really powerful feedback which is given to the teacher. Now, talking about the Parley Universe, what is the Parley Universe? So it is a discussion prompt library from where you can use the ready-to-use roundtable discussions. You can connect your classroom to real-world ideas. You can build research-backed strategies for your students. The content which is available in Parley Universe is easily customizable for your class needs, and Parley team will create curriculum aligned topics for the teachers on demand. That is again a very powerful feature which Parley gives us. So let's try it out. As Anna has said, the first step is that you have to go to this website, www.parleyideas.com. Second step is you have to choose whether you are a teacher or a student. So since this workshop is mainly meant for educators to make their classroom discussions engaging, so we are assuming that teachers are participating here. You have to choose this option, I am a teacher. And here you go. You can also use your existing Microsoft account or your Gmail account to log in and enter into the Parley page. Once you are into the Parley page, we are going to do a live demo with you. But first, let us show you that how student activities are planned in Parley. So once you are going to share a prompt with your students, what is their role, what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to review the prompt given by the teacher and submit their response. Secondly, there is a beautiful integrated function of peer feedback. So if you are looking for some ways to engage your students in peer reviews, peer reflection, peer assessments, you can easily use Parley for that. And students can reply to each other's post. They can comment on each other's post, and teacher can also see that what kind of interaction is going on between the peer. Now, what are the activities which teachers can do on Parley? So you can find out which submissions of your student are the model submissions. You can star them. You can highlight specific ideas. Students are notified about their submissions. You can assess them. There is an inbuilt rubric which is being given for the teachers to use to share the feedback and to give assessment criteria to the students. And with the beautiful summary feature, you can also see the reflection of the discussion which is going on in the classroom. You can visualize the discussion. You can reflect the discussion as a class. So what are the different steps that we have to take? So before we go on to the live demo, here is a brief summary about it. First thing, you have to go to the Parley page that you must have already done by now, and you have to choose a roundtable discussion that you want to do. Either you can take it from the Parley Universe, or you can create your own by using this plus button. And then you have to choose that whether you want to do a live roundtable conference where the verbal discussions will take place, or you want to do an online written discussion which the child can participate later on his or her own pace. So there are different steps that we will just explore in the demo. And this is one video where the teacher is engaging the students into the Parley discussion inside the classroom. So that is the beauty of Parley Ideas. So since now many schools are moving on to the hybrid learning, a few students will be in the classroom, few students will be doing the online studies from home. So Parley Ideas will be a great discussion tool. Let us watch how this teacher is engaging the students inside the classroom into the Parley discussions. It's still loading.
Yeah, sometimes it takes some
Okay, I think
time
my
for the video.
internet, yeah, it's there.
This is mostly a live discussion. Does that make sense to everyone? And it's mostly like our fishbowl discussion. So that means a few people can be in the middle, waiting to speak respectfully, and then the rest are taking notes around the circle. You're just taking those notes electronically. And then you're reacting to what people say. And so let's say, you're someone who doesn't feel as comfortable speaking. We have a couple in this class who can be a little bit shy in these discussions. You can verbally encourage them to speak if you see them in there for a while by asking a question or by normalizing what you do. I will also be nudging you. That's only going to lead to you English, like the English Civil War political philosophies. I found him relating a lot to John Locke's idea of democracy and rights. So by him implementing social programs, he's really just helping people like live to the bare minimum, which is kind of protecting their liberties and their rights. I would say in a way because it just helps people get by.
Although like the New Deal is very beneficial, like it opens the door to future possibilities of executives like abusing that power that they just got.
And I just want to touch upon like what Samantha said about how like FDR did kind of gain more power, more executive power, and more leadership. Like the survival of the fittest, like there's a natural like order to things. And it's just kind of interesting how he
And still be I would say in a comfortable position when we came to World War II because we were prepped economically, we were still prepped, like we weren't a lot of it. So like a lot of it I found that was like almost gilded age arguments to say that we should like encourage the private industry and like give more money. I was like, well, we're living in a capitalist monopoly.
So here we have seen that how we can engage students into the Parley
Netta,
discussion and make
could you
our
click?
learning.
Could you click the hide button because this panel is like,
Yeah, sure.
we can't see the whole picture. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
So let us go for the demo now and let's try it out. So as I said, in the first step, we have to go to www.parlayideas.com and then let us try the student activity, the teacher activities, which I will be controlling, and you all will be invited to participate as students through the class code. And then we are also going to see that how we can review the data, the assessment, the feedback, and the class-wide reflections. These are some of the resources which you can also find on the Parlay Ideas website. Now let us go to the Parlay page. So I request all the participants to go to this website, parlayideas.com, and here you have to click on this login button. Once you click on the login button, it will ask you to join in through your Gmail ID or Microsoft ID. Since I am already a part of Parlay, so it did not ask me, but as a first time user, it will ask you to sign up. So you can sign up using your Gmail account or using your Microsoft account or with your existing ID, and you can come to the main page, your dashboard. So this tab is there, this plus button, create course, where you are going to create course for your students. So if I click here, it is going to ask me that what course you want to create. So let us try creating a course on sustainable development goals for the students. This is a section which we can just write down. Maybe I want to write down the class name over here. So I can create this course and simply click on create. Once I have created a course, I have this button called create, which is there for me to create my first roundtable. So once I click here, it gives me two options. How would you like to start? Would you like to do a written online blended discussion and collaboration, or you would like to do a live roundtable? So first, let us see an online one. Create online roundtable, and then it gives me three options, whether I want to choose something from the Parley Universe, or I want to do something from my own portfolio if I have added some discussion topics already for the students, or I want to create from scratch. So let me show you how you can utilize the Parley Universe and choose some of the lessons which are already developed by the educators and experts around the world and save time by choosing your collections. Now I have to add a keyword or a title or an author to search for a collection, or I can simply see the collection. So you can see there are so many collections on English, short stories, poetry, famous speeches. There are so many topics on history, getting started topics, social studies, science and innovation, philosophy, ethics, business, 21st century skills. So, since I want to teach my students about Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, let me see if I have some discussion around that topic. So as I put the keyword, the roundtable discussions which are related to SDGs will be shown in this page. So let me go to this Sustainable Development Goals. Here I have this roundtable discussion which is given on SDGs. There are different topics. Explore the UN SDGs. Is the internet a right privilege? Should schools be encouraging students? This is on quality education. So this is a generalized one. Let me go here, and this is the discussion prompt which is already created by some other educator, and let me go through it. First, it mentions the learning goal, then it is mentioning why it is important. It is mentioning the content and multimedia, which is already added over here. So if I want to use this topic, I have to simply click here, use this topic. If I click on use this topic, this will be added to my dashboard as a roundtable discussion, which I want to take with my students. So what is this roundtable for? It is asking me. I have already created one course for grade 10. So I will click here, create roundtable. And now this roundtable is being added to my course, and it has come into the editing mode. So if I click here on edit, now this template has come into the editing mode. If I want to change some of the learning goals, I can delete it. I can add some more content. I can go through the content. I can go through the video, the TED talk about how we can make a world a better place. It's already added by the educator who have developed it. These are some of the discussion questions which are mentioned by the person who has created this roundtable about SDGs, which I want my students to answer. And then there is a peer feedback also. So I can add or delete, I can do changes, I can insert some more images, some more links, some more videos, some emojis. I can adjust it to customize it to my classroom needs. And once it is done, I can click on save and close. So now this roundtable is ready for my students to explore. Now, how do I invite my students into this discussion? So I am going to use this tab, invite. Once I click here, this is going to generate a code for my classroom. So I have to simply copy this link and share in the tab in my learning management system. I can share it in the Google Classroom. I can integrate into Microsoft Teams. If I already have a students added, I don't have any student added over here because generally I share it as a link. If you already have your students over here, you can select your students and simply allot them the roundtable. So here I invite all the educators, all the participants to go to this website, www.parlayideas.com, and don't log in as a teacher in a separate browser. It will show you that whether you are a student or a teacher. So if you click on I am a student, it will ask you to put a class code. You can simply put the class code and you will be added to my discussion roundtable right now. One person who is there, and since the anonymity is on, so I can't see the name of the person, so just put me off. Yes, we have someone over here. We have Benny Bear with us. Thank you for joining. the roundtable conference, online roundtable on SDGs. I hope you are enjoying it. We have one more person over here, Valbona Shikombi. Thank you for joining in. So as the participants will start joining in, you can see the name of the participants over here, and there is a option called anonymity. If you want your student's name to be anonymous, you can click this option. Yes, students are anonymous. You will not be able to see their actual name, their real names. And if you don't want student names to be anonymous, then you can click this option, no student name should be revealed to the teacher, so that teacher can see. But if you really want to keep the anonymity on or off, it is your choice. Then you have these criteria of assessment. Do you want to make this discussion assessment based, or you want teacher want to provide some assessment with points? You can also choose the criteria from the given integrated criteria. You have a criteria for well-written, you have a criteria for inquiry-based learning, creative, focused, evidence-based learning, analysis, connection, expressive, critical thinking, communication, collaboration. And if I want to create my own assessment point, and I think that assessment point which I want to assess is not mentioned here, I can also create my own assessment point, and I can give the score also to my assessment point. Do I want to give 5 marks to each criteria or 4 marks to each criteria? That is the choice of the teacher. Once you set the assessment criteria, you also have another feature for peer feedback. So as I want my discussion to be peer reviewed and peer feedback to be shared, I can click on the questions which I want my students to answer for peer assessment or peer feedback. I agree or disagree with this post, because if I want this question, I can click it on. If I don't want this question, I can simply click it off. This reminds me of, so these are some of the prompts which you are giving to your students to answer while they are reading their peer feedback or their peer comments. This will help them to share their feedback and assessment. So if you want to type your own question, you can type in your own question here, and simply you can click on plus button. So this question will be added in your peer feedback. So this really makes the discussion really strong, where the peer feedback and peer assessment can also be integrated into your discussions. Once your entire feedback, your assessment, your anonymity is done, you are simply able to see what your students are doing in the discussion. So as you go to student name here, anonymity is off. We have selected that, so we can close this. And now I can add a response from my side as a teacher. So I can see this is the student view. I can also see the student view. So all those who are not able to join, I'm going to show you the student view, so that once your students are able to participate, you should be having clear idea about it, that what experience my student is going to do. So once the student enter the code, this window will appear. Welcome to Exploring the UN Sustainable Goals. The first task the student is supposed to do is review the prompt. Second task the student is supposed to do is submit the response. And third task is join the discussion. So here the student is going to write, okay, got it. Now here is the prompt which is given by the teacher to the student. The learning goals, why it is important, and the child is going to see everything, read everything. And here the child is going to type in the answers which the teacher has given to the children about discussion prompts which are added. So here the child can write about what a sustainable development goal means to them, or how many SDGs are there, and whatever questions you have given, the child can also insert a link, child can insert an image, they can upload and edit any file, any videos, emojis. So lot of powerful things are given to the child also to experience in the Parlay discussion mode. So here I wanted to show you that what experience the child is going to have. Here we have unsubmitted responses. Any of the participant who are here, they have not submitted their responses. That is why it's showing unsubmitted response. As and when the children are going to, the participants are going to answer the discussion prompts, then I am able to see each child activity. So let me show you some of the samples from my previous activities which I have conducted with my students, so that I can show you that what kind of experience your students are going to do. So this is one topic I have taken up with my grade 10 students on sustainable farming. And here you can see the responses of my students. So there is one student who have written about a question, Krishvi Jan, about the crops. These are the comments which were to be given by the teacher or by the peer. So this is another student who have marked the peer assessment and the peer feedback is being shared. So these are all the responses given by the students. And there is one comment each minimum which is being shared by the peer group. And here it is also shown, the data is also showing that on which date and what time the child has entered the discussion. So all these data analysis which is given by the Parlay is simply awesome, which makes teacher very, very strong. So the assessment for this criteria is on, the peer feedback for this assessment was on. And here, once I click on the name of the child, I can see that what answer Bhavya has given for each question which was given to her, and what comments were there, what were the peer feedback which she has received. So for every child, I can see the analysis. By clicking on the name of the child, I can read the answers of each child individually. This child has also put a picture here as an image. All the answers are added by the child. She has also added one video to make her roundtable discussion strong. And now let me show you that what was the summary of this discussion. So once I go to this tab on the right hand side, on the top right hand side, which says summary, as I click on the summary, I can see how did my class participated in this discussion. So 85% of the students submitted the response. At least 12% of the students gave one comment. 23% of the participants received at least one comment from their participants. What was the average comment length which was being shared? It was 7 words. The keyword cloud. So here, since this discussion is quite, I can say, old, so right now it is not showing the keyword cloud. And then this is the most powerful thing. This is the chart which is showing that how and by what criteria all the students participated. So as I'm going to click on the color code, it is going to show me that comments from Ashish Sharda to Sahitya, one comment shared, and Sahitya has not shared any comment with Ashish Sharda. Okay, now if I come to this color code, so it shows me total comments which were given were 2. If I come to this color code, so Abhinav is one child who has given one comment to Arjun, and Arjun has also given one comment to Abhinav. So these are the different color codes which are going to tell me the summary of my entire discussion, which is really, really important for any educator to know that what kind of discussions are taking place. Is it really helpful? Is it going to help the class? What ideas are being scaffolded? whether students are able to critically examine each other comments or not. So this is what makes Parley really powerful. Now here, this kind of toolbox that you can see, it's really helpful. It gives you information about the roundtables that you have conducted. You can download the student reports from here. You can change your class settings. You can access to Parley Universe. Just to remind you, Parley Universe is the library of the lesson plans and the roundtable conferences which are being developed by the teachers. You can develop your own portfolio, digital portfolio in Parley Universe. And also we have so many teacher resources for the teachers to use. So this is a toolbox which is really helpful for you. And also you can choose your avatar. You can choose your universe portfolio by using this. And there are many PD resources. If you want to know more about Parley, you can go to teacher resources and you will get a galaxy full of resources. So you have how to use Parley videos, you have Parley community, you have professional development videos, you have research and pedagogy ideas, you have step-by-step guides, you have student resources. So there is many more ideas that you can do in this toolbox. This is really important as a teacher, which gives you a lot of powerful ideas and how you can utilize Parley. Now coming on to the another one, that what type of roundtable I want to create. Let me show you the other one, which is the online one. We have just talked about the online written one, and now we are going to talk about what type of roundtable conference we can hold live with the student, which will be a verbal discussion. So this is a sample of this live discussions. For live discussions, you need to have some prompts for the students to answer. So you can create live discussion by using some of the questions. You can set some of the questions for the students before they join in. So you can create a round table where you have already set some prompts, the way you want students to answer. You can set 5 to 6 questions for them so that live discussion can take place. Once your questions are ready and you invite them, so again in the same way, a code is going to be generated. You can share the link in your Google Classroom, in Microsoft Teams, or you can simply ask children to join through this class code. And once children join in, your participants join in, they are going to see these ideas. They can tap in, you can do live polls with them, and this is the prompt. So since I have not shared any prompt right now, so I can also give a prompt on the spot. So maybe I want to put my name over here. I don't have any URL, any guiding question which I want my children to answer. So I can say, do you think Parley is a great platform for discussions? So I can add live prompt questions also for my participants. So as I click on this plus button, this question is already added for my students to see, and they can tap in and they can show their curiosity to answer that question by using one of the options. So as the teacher, if teacher wants to tap in, teacher can click here, tap in, and the students will come to know that now teacher has to speak something. So once the teacher has spoken, then teacher can tap out. Or you can use the option queue if you want to put children in the queue. If you want to add a poll question, you can create a live poll question for students. So here I am going to show you how you can create a live poll question for your participants. So if I want to ask them, are you enjoying discussion on Parley? So I can put this question and I can simply click on start. So students will be able to see this poll question on their screen. Participants will be able to show this question on their screen and they can start voting for it. So this makes live discussion and the roundtable, both the type of roundtable, really make Parley a great discussion tool, which is really beneficial for the participants and for the educator to get maximum out of the discussions.
Thank you so much, Sumedha. It was amazing. You're pro about Parley. It's obvious. I have just shared with the Wakelet collection that Sumedha made for you with the resources. Again, with a link to the parlayidea.com. You can follow this link. You can register there. Bakery. Wow. So thank you for introducing for the introduction of Parley. Can students record their videos or audios for sharing their thoughts, or only text? That's a good question.
Yeah, so thank you for this question. They cannot do the live recording, but if they can do recording in some other software and insert it as a link in the Parley, they can record their audio or video and then put it in the Google Drive and share that link into their discussion, which is initiated by the teacher. Inside the Parley, they cannot do audio or video recording, but they can do it in other platform and then insert it as a link or a YouTube video.
Okay.
I hope this
So,
clarifies the question.
so if you have any questions, you may just use this question and answers area or comments area, whatever, because we've got a real pro. I thought there are much like less possibilities on this platform. Yeah, someone has just joined again from the South Africa. Hello, hello. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to Medha if you don't mind. So all the details, information in the collection as well. Amazing platform. It's not just the tool; it's the whole platform there. I would love to try Parley, and you may just again use the commentary and share with your insights or what do you think about Parley. Yeah, it's a great platform. Thank you so much, Sumedha, for sharing. It was amazing, epic. Again, you are so experienced with Parley, and it's like everyone seen it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Anna, for inviting me. It was a great opportunity. I'm really humbled and honored that you invited me to share my learning with the educators around the world, because Parley does make a difference and it creates a lot of good engaging opportunities for students to do classroom discussion, especially in the remote learning atmosphere.
yeah. So, what are your favorite features there? Because there are so many.
Yeah, my favorite feature, since I am a social science teacher, and for social science educator, discussions are really important. We cannot start a topic without a discussion. So whether it is a probing question to start my lesson, I really need to give some engaging task to my student before I actually move on to the classroom concepts. So tapping in, tapping out, child building upon a question. So these prompts give my students idea that what they are expected to do. In the remote learning, if I simply unmute myself and say, okay, now you share your ideas. So mostly you can observe that students keep themselves muted and they would not like to open their cameras. So even though they are not interested to open their cameras, even though they are not interested to speak, they can still participate in the discussion with such powerful platforms like Parley. And if any child is not participating, I can contact that child later on through a telephone or through email and ask that what problems the child is facing, whether he is not understanding the concepts or is there any something else which is bothering the child. So the summary is really powerful, which gives me a lot of insights into what kind of classroom discussion is going on and whether my students are comfortable with the concepts or not.
Wow.
So this is what really makes Parley a very powerful discussion tool.
So these last words are epic ones. Thank you so much again for sharing. So powerful and inspiring again. So thanks everyone for joining us again. If you would like to, you can reach out to Sumedha. And I think this is it. I wish you to stay safe, have a great weekend, and see you in the next upcoming webinars for Teachers Love Edu. So bye everyone, stay tuned and stay safe. Bye.